Welcome to the Big Biz Show, featuring insight, analysis, and a lot of stuff that's none of your business.
Hold on. This is the Big Biz Show. I think it is their business.
Making the markets work for you. Here's the man with the plan, Sully.
It is the Big Biz Show. What is going on? How are you doing? Thanks for being along for the ride.
Have you seen that thing?
What's up?
Have you seen the intro?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Jerry, can you roll that again without any sound?
We don't need
Don't look at. I want to see that because you ever heard about 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound bag?
No, I missed. Oh, Mike. Yeah, the shot of Mike. Yeah.
Look at that. So there you go.
Where it is?
There you go. There's Mike
Where is
Costin.
it?
Okay.
Where is
Drinks
it?
in the
All
laundry.
right, hey, good
Where
luck.
is it?
Mr. Costas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looking good,
Yeah,
looking
how are you?
good.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
wasting
Oh,
there.
look at him working out.
Those were the days.
Talking, racing.
Yeah, racing, talking.
Oh, what
everywhere.
a show.
The other things at your mom's house. Listen,
It looks like a nice shirt, to be fair.
It is.
it was.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
when he was in 8th grade. When he was junior class president of the 8th grade class. Were you ever did you ever do were you ever the president or the captain or anything?
Just in sports, but never like president of school body or anything like that. No, wasn't.
You were
Never.
president of your school body?
No, never.
Greg, were you ever?
I think so. I think I was treasurer or something like that.
Oh, that's such crap.
I mean,
know what I
Look at
did.
him.
I
He's
know.
handsome.
Not sure what I
He's
did,
7
though.
feet tall.
Yeah.
He's like,
Eric
no,
Stratton,
I was the
Rush
president
chairman.
of school. And I was, just call me. Just call me.
Greg Todoroff,
Yeah.
Rush chairman. Damn glad
Don't
to
worry.
meet you.
Damn glad to meet you.
Remember? Do you remember the Fed chair was back then?
Ben Bernanke? No.
Ooh. No, Ben Bernanke. Remember him?
That was my Fed chair.
Yeah.
No, it was
Volker?
Volcker.
Volcker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know Paul Volcker? Paul Volcker under Reagan. Do you know do you know what his best thing was? The Laffer curve. Art Laffer was in his hair. Here's how Laffer curve works. You know how a train goes, That's how Laffer looked at, and that, I forget what that's called, but Laffer looked at the economy that way. And the long story short, what he said was, that which you make easier to pay will be paid. So if you're going to give me a $30,000 tax bill, hey, look at me, I ain't got it.
Yeah.
I put something down on it, I ain't got it.
Yep.
But if you make the tax bill $3,000, everybody pays.
Yes.
And that was the basis of Art Laffer.
So the big criticism with the Laffer curve has been that it's hard to calibrate. We know that it's 0% tax, you're not paying anything, and then 100% tax, you're not paying anything. Who's going to pay? You're going to have a revolution. But there's some optimal point, right? There's a parabolic curve.
Sure.
But it seems like that number that tops out revenue is about 20%. A 20% all-in tax is where you can kind of tap GDP before it starts to be unproductive.
Don't nod your head. Do not nod your head.
So no, I mean it's proven effective the whole time. You look at Europe, they had wealth taxes.
Go on.
Do you prefer drool?
Can I do the biz part of this show?
No, it's just I'm watching the freaking mouth breather going,
I heard GDP.
what does GDP stand for?
Get down, Petey.
He knows it starts with gross.
Get down,
Yeah.
Petey. Diddle-it.
So wait, now are you calling for a flat tax then? Is that
Or a
what
fair
you're
tax.
saying?
Well, it doesn't really matter. It does matter how you do it, but it's an all-in calculation. So 20% of GDP being taxed annually seems about where it tops out before
We stop paying. We stop paying.
You stop growing.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's death to an
You know, 70% of our economy is based on consumer spending. What's interesting, though, you bring up this fair tax, flat tax thing.
Yeah.
The interesting part of it, so if you had a fair tax, which is a consumption tax,
Yep.
okay? Mainly, so there's no more income tax. You get a write-off for your mortgage, write-off for charities, that's it. However, you're paying 20%, 22% more on a Apple.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
The problem is that extra 20% harms lower income families. 20% to a person making 30K.
Yep.
So what do you have to do?
Big number.
You write a check every year. Everybody gets about 18 grand to even it out, including the rich people. Yeah. So it's not a perfect system. By the way, our progressive tax system right now, 72,000 pages long.
Yeah, it's
Oh
ridiculous.
my God. And has anybody ever read all the way through it?
Not without committing suicide.
Yeah.
Howie has.
Sorry, I answered my own question.
Howie
No,
actually.
no, I'll tell you about the tax
for,
system here.
for your sins.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
Welcome to the Big Biz Show, featuring insight, analysis, and a lot of stuff that's none of your business.
Hold on. This is the Big Biz Show. I think it is their business.
Making the markets work for you. Here's the man with the plan, Sully.
The Big Biz Show rolling along. Great day. Hope you guys are having a great day as well. Always appreciate when you are with us. We're here in the Loft 100 studios in beautiful, for the moment, sunny Southern California. Sul, how are you?
I'm scratching my head about a story that Mary just brought up because we have AP Silverrstieen coming up with ImagineAR, which is augmented reality.
Yes.
Okay? It's not AI necessarily. It's not artificial intelligence, but there's an article out there saying that a woman is suing an AI company because she was sexually assaulted in the metaverse. And I'm here to say it didn't happen. It was in the metaverse. It was in her head.
Yeah.
It would be like saying that people who are playing Call of Duty should be tried for murder.
But it's different because they're expecting to be murdered. They go in knowing
It didn't happen though. But it did not happen.
But it's showing us, what it shows me is that there's this new generation of people that are being psychologically, emotionally impacted by what is happening in this virtual reality. And to us, we don't understand it because I understand
it. I understand it. Just do this.
So that
Take
is
it
the
off,
thing.
set it
But
on the
you're
table.
so engrossed. The way she's, I would offer up that you listen to her speak.
I would
about
offer
it,
that if
because
she
was
is
very articulate.
how about just looking inward for a minute and saying maybe I should have taken my headset off,
That's what
as
they
opposed
said.
to suing the company that made the headset.
Well, I don't even know if she's suing. I don't know all those details, but I would just say let's listen to her side of it
here's
first.
the issue. The issue is that I'm assuming these were all men, boys, or whatever that supposedly pulled off the AI rape or assault. That it's the fact that they think this would be okay in the form of a AI game. I think there's your problem. That someone thinks
But everything's
it's
being
not real."
weaponized, and there's aggression happening,
Yeah.
and it's way
Well, that's
more.
been going on ever since you had a video game where you shot stuff like Galaga back in 1983. I mean, we were shooting stuff up.
Or when
But
people,
so-
when
and
people
that's
were in
expected
headsets.
in those games. It's expected that you're going in with guns. This was a game where she was having a fun time in a park walking
what
through,
point
and all of a
does-
sudden
what-
4 guys come up and surprise attack her. She's in this world.
I don't expect the Chargers
And-
to lose ever. Should I choose the Chargers? The
They're
expectation.
not even. They're not even apples and
listen,
oranges.
their record's 13-1. There's no way they're going to lose to the Arizona Cardinals.
but-
My expectation, it happened unexpectedly. I should sue the Chargers because now I'm really bummed because we lament our losses 3 times more than we celebrate our games. I'm bummed with this till next Friday. I should sue the Chargers.
Yeah, but
because
a woman
at 13
being raped and a football team
but a woman
being
wasn't
lost.
raped. But a woman wasn't raped, and that's where I knew you were going with it, which I freaking totally hooked you in. A woman was not raped. That's the point. They were
in this world.
They were not in this world.
There is a world
You do
where
have-
this
Are you arguing for the sake of arguing? Because there's no way this happened in.
No, because I think you're taking this too lightly, and this is a way that
What
our
set of
kids
laws exist?
are living.
What set of laws exist in our land or any other country that says if something that you think happened should be prosecuted?
It's a whole new world, Sully.
Oh no, it's not.
It's a whole
our laws,
new.
our laws and our covenants are not new. They are here for a reason, so that you can't just make stuff up as you go along. This woman,
Those
unfortunately-
laws that you're referring to were made before VR and AR and AI.
Yeah, we are
existed.
still living under them. So
I
the bottom
agree.
line, so it doesn't
But
change
we
what
need
happens
to
under
just
VR.
explore
Let's talk to the
this
expert, AP Silverrstieen. AP, does this make sense to you?
This is one topic I'm not jumping in on. You guys.
Smart man,
I
smart man.
didn't think so.
Talk about.
Let's talk about Lamar.
Yeah.
But we're not going to go down this.
Talk
this
about
path.
what you guys do out there, AP. I think this is important. It's been a few weeks since you were out of town. I got to talk about this. You're talking about an augmented reality market, the size of $50 billion just in this country. Talk about what's going on with respect to what you guys are up to and what the latest is with it.
And certainly with the market the way it's going, it's supposed to hit $1 trillion by 2030. And the ability for people to sit at home, utilize their phones, and engage with the environment around them, whether like we do with sports teams, have Lamar from the Baltimore Ravens sitting right in your house cheering you on. You can stand and take pictures with him. to people using it for wayfinding and navigation wherever they are. And the Vision Pro just sold out, and that's Apple's foray into doing the headset with the goggles. And there's a lot of feeling that that's going to be the tipping point as we go forward in the world of AR. And the things that you were discussing previously will be something that will also have to be addressed as we go forward, is people in their home engaging in AR, VR, mixed reality, as if they're really in these environments and responding as if it's real life.
AP, I'm hoping the Ravens beat the Chiefs. I think they're going to beat the Chiefs. Can you put a price tag on Lamar and the Ravens getting to the Super Bowl and what that means for your company?
That's a good question. Certainly working with the Ravens has been outstanding. They did some good stuff with us. I think the visibility and demonstrating of how to get real good, strong fan engagement, we just got mentioned in a couple of articles out there, as well as what we're doing. And I think there's a tremendous value, obviously, be associated with the winner. When we signed the contract a couple of years ago, I think I even mentioned to you on air, I said we've had 3 clients already win championships, and here we are with the Baltimore Ravens 1 year later, and on their way to the Super Bowl. So we're pretty proud of them. We love being a part of it and having the players out there, and the fans are engaging and using it all over the world. So it's pretty exciting and fun to be part of this ride, and 2 more games to go.
Hey, Pete, what's the latest and what's coming up here in the next quarter?
Well, we just finished the college football playoffs. I think we were out of town for that, where we were the virtual trophy celebration for Michigan. I don't know who was betting on them, nonetheless, in your group, but the virtual college football trophy was done by us with CFP. And we've got Queen's Park Ranger coming up very shortly, QPR, UK Premier League team. And they'll be launching a whole fan engagement with us coming up shortly within the next week or so. And there's some other projects that seem to be coming out in the next quarter. I think also you're seeing us make a focus in the world of location-based entertainment. We've discussed that previously, is the ability to deliver AR engagements in destination sites where people go there to be immersed, whether it's projection rooms, whether it's VR, whether it's other types of entertainment beyond just a standard amusement park.
I think one thing that you've opened up here is the fact that you guys can pivot into whatever seems to be popular in the public eye, whether it be shopping virtually or football or baseball or even what is that stinky sport they play overseas? Oh, soccer, for example. Now let me tell you,
cricket.
You guys just announced another soccer win, didn't you? Talk about that.
Yeah, that was QPR, Queen's Park Rangers over in the UK. They're going to be using it to engage their fans over there in what's called the fan zone, where people can take pictures and videos and then be rewarded with it with our platform. And one thing, again, that we've touched on previously is we're going in 2024 expecting to really integrate AI with our AR. So you have the ability to communicate directly with the holograms, with the 3D objects, have full conversations, and basically have that kind of concierge hospitality experience no matter where you are in the world.
So if I mouth off to Tyson Fury and your AI formula, can I sue you because he hit me smack in the face?
I guess you'll be flying to Saudi Arabia to do it because they're the ones paying for him to go out there. So certainly you can be there.
Hey, Pete, before I let you out of here today, let's talk a little bit about market size. You touched on it a bit earlier, but did you talk about the trillions in terms of addressable market here coming up very shortly?
Yeah, certainly with Apple jumping in with the goggles, with the growth of AR has just gone in VR, the estimation for AR from a number of experts outside is to hit close to $800 billion to $1 trillion by 2030. You're seeing the militaries around the world jump in on AR glasses to simulate actual battlefields. You're seeing manufacturing companies now using AR to build out their manufacturing and fine-tune, engaging and collaborating. And I truly believe the marriage of AI and AR is going to be a significant market going forward, whether it's a concierge or everyone having that little hologram, as I say, the little Star Wars projection that we saw back in the day is going to become reality in everyone's house.
His name, AP Silverrstieen. Imagine AR, Structural IPNFF. Boy, have they had a run. Good stuff. AP, can't wait to hear from you next week. Check this out. As we're watching us get out here, Shepard and AP have a very special.
World champion and baseball legend Johnny Damon here. I heard that you're a huge fan of mine, so I wanted to stop by, take some time to meet you. I appreciate all the support you've given me over the years. Hopefully we can catch a game together sometime soon. Now let's take a picture that you can show off to your friends.
research efforts to discover new antibiotics have stalled. In the post-World War II period following Alexander Fleming's breakthrough discovery of penicillin, new antibiotics were discovered and developed at a breathtaking pace. The golden age of antibiotic discovery peaked in the 1950s, and during this period, the pharmaceutical industry was the engine of innovation. But then, discoveries started dropping drastically from the 1980s onward, with no new antibiotics being produced in nearly 3 decades. Government, industry, and medical communities all agree that in the face of this mounting crisis, efforts to revive and improve the likelihood of successful drug discovery is essential. Enter Acurx Pharmaceuticals. They are a biopharmaceutical company focused on developing new antibiotics for difficult-to-treat infections such as MRSA, VRE, and DRSP. We face new threats every day, big and small. Acurx Pharma is on the front lines of health using technology to help us treat tomorrow's infections today. Acurx Pharmaceuticals.
It is the Big Biz Show. Hope you guys are having a great one. We certainly are. Wherever you are watching, however you are watching or listening, we always appreciate you being on board. The executive producer is Greg Todoroff. Mary Burke Godwin right there. I'm Costa. He is Sully. Hey, hey.
Steve Glover, or Steve Glover, is the chairman and CEO of Zyversa Therapeutics. Stock symbol ZVSA. This is an exciting company, and one of our favorite guests, I think Greg was talking about it. He needs to do a bedtime story.
Do like a bedtime story reading.
Yeah, because he's
a very soothing voice.
He's very
easy to listen to.
Well, because what else is soothing is there are 2 proprietary drug platforms which are focusing on renal anti-inflammatory diseases. He joins us once again, Steve Glover, here on the Big Biz Show. Steve, good to have you. But
hey, Sully, how you guys doing?
Good to see you, man. So, get us up to date on the latest, because there's been some great news out. There's been some great research out. I'm just going to let you take over here, stuff that's happened last week or so. It's pretty exciting news.
Yeah, pretty good, and I'll try not to be as soothing, so maybe you guys will, see how just important this is. So, no, I love when we make progress in the biotech industry, and neuroscience and neuroinflammation are really big areas of research in the industry. I mean, when you think about inflammation and neurology, you're thinking about brain inflammation and spinal cord inflammation, and those impact diseases such as MS and other diseases and Parkinson's. But one of the big areas of exploration is Alzheimer's disease, and we really had some nice findings this week from our colleagues down at University of Miami, showing that knocking down this neural inflammation in Alzheimer's disease through blocking inflammasomes is a major finding.
And with respect to that, talk to us about how that intersects with what your findings are with your drug platforms.
Sure. So our lead drug platform in inflammation is IC100. It's an approach to blocking an inflammasomes that can block this inflammation that we're talking about. So the researchers worked on looking at how our product could apply into this research that they found and they conducted. And one of the key findings in the research with our drug platform was, blocking this inflammasome that stimulates ASC production. And our product is targeted at reducing and knocking down the ASC levels to reduce the neural inflammation.
The other platform is VAR200, and that's to improve kidney function. Talk about that.
So with VAR200, this is an exciting time for us, and we actually just had a patient panel. And what you do with those patient panels is really try to get input from them around what they could participate in the clinical trial, what's the best way to get them to participate and make it reasonable for them to have a good outcome. And, we just completed that this week as well, and some great feedback. And now we're getting ready, based on that feedback, to finalize and start our phase 2 trial. And so we're right in the window to start initiating treatment with those patients with a great outcome mid-year.
Are you guys also on phase 2 or headed towards that with IC100?
We're not quite there yet, but we're at a key inflection point with IC100. The findings that we're talking about allows us to do two things. We're now ready to complete our preclinical work in these indications throughout the first 6 months. And then towards the end of the year, we'll be meeting with the FDA to talk about opening up an IND to study this in safety in patients in phase 1. So, these findings continue to support the progression of the program. And that's a really important progress point for investors.
Hey, Steve, can you talk about the addressable market here for these products individually?
So for the inflammasome program, it is a very large addressable market. It's about $60 billion worth of indications, which we're targeting everything from, acute respiratory distress syndrome to Parkinson's disease. We've got some really interesting collaboration work going on in atherosclerosis. These are all major drug categories, huge opportunities. And then on VAR 200, the kidney space is around $13 billion worth of opportunity. High unmet problem in the United States.
Hey, Steve, one thing that we haven't talked about going forward on this is other therapies beyond this. Are you guys actively seeking the next level of product, or is it sort of concentrate on these two and then see what the scientists come up with?
Every time you learn through the research, you tend to want to make sure that you're best in class, and you want to make sure that you're looking at other assets to potentially add in. So I'm constantly on the lookout for that. Working with the University of Miami to understand where their development of some of their translational research is at, as well as looking outside of the university system. So we're constantly looking at that. It's something we would look at probably more in depth as we complete 2024.
Perfect. Stephen, last of all, if you think in terms of taking this to market, do you guys take this all the way to market yourselves, or do you use some sort of an anti-risk model whereby another big pharma comes to you guys when you get to the 5-yard line? Have you thought about that yet, or is that sort of too early to think about?
Oh, I always think about that because, I always say in this business, you got to understand where your partners and your exits are at. And one of the things we always, are very active in is discussions with my peers in the industry, both at the big companies and the mid-cap companies, talking about, how far should we go in development? Should we collaborate on certain indications and do others on our own? And then do you commercialize or not is a big decision, but it's not a near-term decision for us because we're still 3 or 4 years away from facing that decision.
His name, Steve Glover. He is the CEO and chairman, Zyversa Therapeutics, ZVSA, their stock symbol, ZVSA. Thanks, Steve. Can't wait to get him in studio. He's coming into San Diego. Thanks, pal. Feeling better about our chances of survival every time I talk to guys like that. All right, Big Biz Show, bigbizshow.com. Look at the Day Trader Quattro up there.
Love them.
They're putting out their new album, 45 30-second songs. Big Biz Show.
Troika is a brand consulting, creative design, and content group that holds the view that brands are a company's most valuable asset and that the most enduring brands forge strong emotional bonds with audiences and supporters. To assist brands in converting audiences into ardent fans, they adopt a fan-centric perspective that guides the way they think, create, and design. Their craft is a blend of art and strategic thinking to create a holistic and meaningful brand experience that builds highly engaged, loyal audiences. Using immersive live experiences, brand partnerships, PR, social media, and influencer marketing, Mission is a communications company that helps brands stand out by interacting with consumers from a cultural perspective.
Loft 100 Studios, The Big Biz Show, and our affiliates and our hosts are not registered investment advisors or broker-dealers.
Our show hosts make no commitment that the purchase of securities of companies profiled or otherwise mentioned in our programming
are suitable or advisable for any person, or that an investment in such securities will be profitable in general.
Given the nature of the company's profile and the lack of an active trading market for the securities, investing is highly speculative and carries a certain high degree of risk.
We profile selected publicly traded and privately held companies on our program.
Most of these companies that we profile have provided compensation to Loft 100 Studios and its hosts for the profile coverage.
From time to time, we sell shares of the companies profiled in the open market that we receive as compensation for coverage of client companies.
But never sell stocks if we are speaking about interviewing or covering a public company who has paid compensation.
Specific questions on compensation can be obtained by contacting producer at sullyandgroup.com.
Listeners should verify all claims and do their own due diligence before investing in any securities mentioned on this program.
Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk.
We encourage our investors to invest carefully and read the investor information available at the websites on the
Securities and Exchange Commission at sec.gov and or the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA, at www.finra.org.
All right. I like it.
Hey, is that a rescue plane?
It is the Big Biz Show. Hope you guys are having a great day. We certainly are. And here's something to all the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, retired or still active, wherever you may be listening, thank you so much for what you do. Over 160 countries and all the ships at sea can hear us on the Armed Forces Network. We love our troops.
Yes, we do.
All right. The Chief Amazement Officer, I continue to have a struggle with a seamless customer service experience in our world. How many times, are you guys tired of just paying for stuff, not getting what you're paying for?
1,000 gazillion %.
I mean, and I bring back to the same analogy. If the people on top thinks one thing's happening at a restaurant,
right?
I guarantee you it's not happening the way they think it is.
Oh.
I mean, and I don't know if this is COVID related or whatever, but there needs to be, the undercover boss thing is the greatest thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's what needs to happen.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's what needs to happen.
Every day, every place.
Every single place should be required. Well, I mean, this is how you require it. You vote with your feet. You stop doing business there. I mean, there's certain places that's just ridiculous. If I say this 100 times, I'll say it 1,000 times. The next time I pull up to a valet and they get my door before they get her door, I swear to God, I lock my door and I hold on to it so you can't open it. And
yeah.
Do you think that's a generational thing, though?
No, it's
Do
an
you
idiot
think it's
thing.
lost in the generation,
It's an idiot
perhaps?
thing. It's an idiot thing.
It's an okay.
But there is a degree of chivalry that does not exist in our society.
Doesn't matter when you're being taught to be a valet.
But are they
Step one.
But
Oh, you're talking about valet school. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Those
I'm
pointed
on board.
shoes.
Now I.
No, never mind. She'll get her door. Get mine, please. Yeah. She's tipping. Should be a big sign.
It's deciding where we go next time.
I hope it's being taught.
Shep, are you getting tired of this analogy? Because it happens every week.
I love it. And if we get sick and tired of it, look what I brought today.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
Hey.
Are we gonna
play a song for us?
Smashing, or are we gonna play a song?
Shep's a very talented guitar player. But
I want to play in your band one day. I'm coming out there.
Get over here. It's because we're smarter than ever. There was a point we were probably too obtuse to realize that, right? Shep, it was probably a point where I just didn't care.
At what point you didn't know, because there's companies that have been out there that have just set the bar real high for us. The Amazonation, that's the word.
Amazonization, yeah.
Wow. Not my word. But they taught us that we can get service quickly. We can get answers quickly. We can get, we can do what we want to do, and we're in control. And guess what? Other people, they think, why can't the companies I do business with be as good as Amazon? They probably can't, but they can do certain things that Amazon is doing that would make the service better.
Shep, thank you for saying Amazon, because just last night, my better half, the boss in our household, was on the phone with Amazon, and I heard her say very calmly, "May I please speak to your manager?" And the problem was solved. Is it still good to, if you're not getting the service you want, to say, "I need to speak with your manager"?
I just simply say, it sounds to me like you're not the person that's going to be able to help me. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because you can't, but who has the authority to make this decision?
I'm just impressed Amazon has a phone number.
Yeah, me
That's
too.
what I was
I
gonna
didn't
ask.
realize
It was,
they had
well, no, it wasn't
phone numbers.
It wasn't what's his name, the owner. It was the customer, whatever the
Okay,
customer
that's-
service
we
number
called
was.
Jeff,
for-
and he's not even working there anymore.
yeah, it wasn't
He's-
Bezos.
But the point is, it's I'm not even talking about a high touch experience. I'm talking about standard. Pull up to the shopping mall that has a valet, or come up to a restaurant.
101.
Do you know? Here's the other thing that I have a problem with, and I don't know if this is under customer service. Maybe it is. It is when the greeter of any business, okay, or the lead agent of any business is mistaking their popularity for the popularity of the business. Okay, this business is popular. Listen, sugar pants. Just because you work there,
I think Toots
has
works
nothing
well.
to do with your own personal worth.
Yeah.
The reason we are here is not because of you. Now there's a juice place in Carmel Valley. There's a couple of Harvard Business School studies about this. Lululemon being one of them, whereby they almost went out of business because of that snooty, foofy attitude. And it was they couldn't figure out why they're losing.
Yep.
They hired a research firm. They said because your people are all biatches. This is what's going on here. There was a company here in town that was a kind of a high touch juice place in Del Mar, Carmel Valley.
It was called Biatches, by the way.
And they went out of business because of it. And sure enough, they've come up with a new name for it. And it's the same people. And again, the place is empty because it's like they're just, it's like the Beverly Hills, what was the scene in Pretty Woman?
Pretty Woman.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like that.
Huge
Yeah,
mistake.
I love it.
Huge.
Big mistake.
Yeah.
Big mistake.
Don't you think there needs to be a reset, Shep?
Yeah, well, I think part of it is they don't understand how to design with the customer in mind. I just read a great article yesterday about Disney. Do you know that when Disneyland, right up the street from you guys in California, was first built, there were no paved walkways? And so and the people thought, oh my God, they didn't get it done in time when they opened the park. No, Walt Disney purposely wanted to see how the customers would walk through the park. And after a while, a path was made in the grass.
Yeah.
You could see where everybody walked. And he goes, that's where we're building sidewalks. So design with the customer in mind and let the customer help you and tell you what they want.
Yeah. Well, on that subject, do you think AI is going to help with that? Do you think AI improves that experience eventually?
Well, I think AI is a great experience if it's done correctly. And the answer might be AI may not be able to tell you exactly what you need to know for your business, but it would help you bring a lot of data in from lots of other businesses. If you ask the right questions, you might get the answer that you need to help design the better service experience.
What's up? So, in your opinion, who's leading the league here in companies? You have anything off the top of your head?
Wow. This is what amazed me. We just got our survey data back from, I do a survey every year. Number one at the top, Amazon hits it again.
No
What
kidding.
surprised me, and I don't know if I can pull it up. Where do I have them? Right in front of me or somewhere. AT&T was in there. I go, AT&T, how did they get in there? But you know what? They hit the top 10. Here's what I believe. When you call AT&T, I have this experience as well. People are really friendly and they help me. The reason people get upset with AT&T or any other cable or internet or telephone provider is because when it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it's always going to not work. Like, oh, my cable went out right before the Super Bowl. Okay, now this is not good. However, if I call them and get them on the phone, guess what? They solve my problem for me.
Yeah.
People confuse product not working with the service experience they get when it doesn't.
Hey, Shep, I wanted to ask you, I missed you the other day because I was dealing with a car company. I won't name the car company, but it's a big one. And
What are their initials?
RR.
Yeah, no.
GMC. No, I'm just kidding.
I wish.
Rolls Royce.
Rhymes with Conda. And my daughter has this car, and I was calling because there was an issue. And I called 2 different service centers near me, and both of them were rude, didn't have the time for me, didn't have an appointment for me for 3 weeks. And I felt like I had no recourse. And I thought, where the heck is Shep Hyken, and what do I do right now? So as
call the other dealer.
what are your tips for consumers in that situation?
Well, number one, I love it when I can take control. And if they have a self-service option that allows me to go onto their website, maybe I have to become, if I bought my car there, I may have an account there. I go on, I see what the availability is for their maintenance. I can get on a wait list if it needs to be sooner. If it's an emergency, please call here. And you know what? As recourse, you do have other options. The real money in the car industry is not made when they sell you a car, it's when they service the car. So maybe the dealer that might provide you a little bit better service might be 15, 20 minutes down the road, but that might be worth discovering in the process of a bad service experience with your original dealer.
His name is Shep Hyken for president. I swear to God, all of these books, you go to his website.
Shep.
Come on, Shep. Hyken.com, H-Y-K-E-N. Do you know what you need, Mary? You need to amalgamate a list of not owners' phone numbers, but their wives. I guarantee you, you complain to an owner's wife about the service you're getting,
That's what I wanted to be a Karen and just go all Karen on them. I didn't.
You see
But
at the,
I wanted
you see
to.
at the owner's wife's phone number. And
No, I
complain to
haven't.
your
I was
wife.
like,
Your husband's not treating ladies very well. Boom! That's all. Big business.
It is the Big Biz Show, live from the Loft 100 studios here in somewhat sunny, somewhat rainy Southern California, wherever you're listening, watching. Hope you're having a great day. Costa, Mary Burt Godwin, executive producer Greg Todoroff, and Sully.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good, good.
What's happening?
We got a busy show today. I want to get right to it. Steve Brady is the CEO of Tempest Therapeutics, of course, a regular guest in the program. We had a good chance to sit down with him at JP Morgan conference, and boy, what a difference at JP Morgan this year. Last year, JP Morgan said biotech was going to drop off the face of it. This year, it's been fantastic. However, an interesting thing happened because during all the changes in biotech last year, everybody had to sort of reprice their expectations at the end of January, which has made it very difficult for biotech firms to raise money in the first quarter of this year. So the latest news has been there'll be lots of money on the horizon, but right now these companies have got to stick with the positive news they've had, sort of leaning on their laurels. And Steve Brady's one such company that can do that because he's had nothing but great news. Steve, great to see you today. Welcome to the show. What's the latest, man? You're curing cancer. You're saving lives, dude.
Thank you very much for having me back, first of all. And that is what we are trying to do. Exactly. And you're right, Sully. It was a different JP Morgan for Tempest this year. Not only was the sentiment better broadly for the sector, but we showed up with randomized phase 2 data in liver cancer. So that sets up a very different set of conversations.
So in given that, talk about the difference between last year and this year, then all of a sudden talk about the first quarter of 2024 and what the sentiment is with you guys and what's happening next.
Well, the sentiment at JP Morgan is completely different than the last two JP Morgans, right? I mean, as you mentioned, last January was doom and gloom. This one it just felt like a whole bunch of people wanting to get back to work, financing companies that have data. And the sentiment that we heard specifically for us was it must be good to be you guys here and able to talk to people about having these randomized data and what comes next, for the company. And that's a pivotal study in liver cancer and first-line liver cancer.
Steve, as the CEO, whether it's doom and gloom or it's great news, is the message to the troops always, hey, nose to the grindstone, just keep pressing on, don't listen to what they're saying?
Mike, absolutely. We're data-driven people, by our wiring, right? And so when you have positive data like this, and as you guys know, we had these data. We tried to tell everybody that we thought the data we were going to release were going to be good, and we had a ridiculous market cap.
Yeah.
So yeah, last year was exactly what you just said. We kept having to look in the mirror and say, it doesn't matter what they're saying. We know we're helping patients. We have gold standard data here, and people will recognize that. And everybody saw what happened in October, and now we're rolling into this year with a ton of energy.
Hey, Steve, talk about the lead drug candidate.
Yeah, so it's called TPST 1120, and we didn't go into the background of the company, but Tempest has 4 programs ranging from very early stage research, which is on a target that we're not sure anybody's working on for cancer, all the way up to 1120. Which is right now post phase 2 proof of concept data, randomized data. It is what's called a PPAR alpha and This means it's targeting a target called PPAR alpha. And one of the things that's really exciting about this and why we think we're seeing what we're seeing in liver cancer is that this target is expressed not only on liver cancer cells, but also on cells in your immune system. And one of the things that got me excited when I first joined the company was that these 2 lead programs that are in the clinic were designed to have this dual mechanism of action. A lot of things will either work on the immune system or they'll hit a cell directly. And 1120 is designed to do both. And that could be what's happening, why it's working.
With respect to that, so you talk about gold standard data. What's next with respect to the story with the FDA?
Yeah, so great question. So that's 100% everybody's full speed ahead getting ready for those conversations this year. There's a series of regulatory conversations that we plan to have this year, and it won't just be with the FDA. This is a global indication. Liver cancer, it's around almost 400,000 new cases a year globally. It's massive. And it's one of the few cancer types that's growing. A lot of cancers, as you know, we're making inroads, whether it's lifestyle or drugs, and they're shrinking, not liver cancer, not for the foreseeable future. So our next steps are to finalize the design of that phase 3 and start it as fast as we can.
Hey, Steve, you've got 3 additional programs. Let's talk a little bit about TPST 1495.
Yeah, so 1495 is completely different. We joked about ibuprofen and some of us who kind of live on it. 1495 is in a pathway called the prostaglandin pathway. It is also designed to have that dual mechanism where it hits cells directly and uses the immune system. And that's behind, obviously, 1120. That's in a much more narrow, focused set of studies. And then we have 2 research programs. One in that's TREX1 in the STING pathway, which you may have heard is a pretty high interest target amongst big pharma and biotech. And the 4th one we haven't disclosed because, like I said, we're not sure anybody's working on it, and we want to make sure we're the furthest when we open that and talk about it.
Last of all, with respect to 2024, anything specific that's leading as far as your attention? Is it still TPST 1120, or is it something?
Oh yeah, I mean, Sully, 1120 is a company and a program.
Yeah.
I mean, based on the data we have, everybody's talking to us about liver cancer, but then the next thing out of their mouth is renal cancer.
Yeah.
We presented positive data in our phase 1 in RCC. People want us to look there. We want to look there. So it's potentially a multi-cancer molecule.
When do you find that out? When do you start getting confirmation of those types of things, where it's not just a matter of let's look over here, let's actually put some resources towards here?
So that would be this year as well. And like you just said, resources. If the capital markets come back the way they should and they're driven by data, we would try to start another randomized study, probably randomized phase 2, just like we did in liver. We would start that in renal cancer and get it going as fast as we can. We have really interesting data there. And just like liver cancer, it should work in renal cancer. So the science here that was the origin of the program is matching with the medicine and the data that we're seeing in people.
Any other cancers beyond that you can hint to, or is it just conjecture at that point?
Well, I mean, the scientist would say it's conjecture because we don't have the data. But when TPST 1120 was started inside Tempest, it started out as a hematologic malignancy or a blood cancer. And everything we're doing, liver and renal, are solid tumors. And so we'd absolutely love to look back and see, is this going to work in blood cancers as well? Like I said, it could be a company and a program.
Yeah, exactly. His name is Steve Brady. Steve Brady, of course, is the CEO of Tempest Therapeutics. Tempest Therapeutics. Stock symbol TPST. Innovative, targeted, and immune-mediated cancer therapies. Fantastic stuff. He's finding a cure for liver cancer.
That's unbelievable.
And he's Tom's better-looking brother.
Yes, he is. I love his work.
Mike, you slid that in
Big
there.
Bishop, more to come.